I saw this headline at Collider and thought, you sure? Yellowstone Prequel 1944 will officially be the Dutton family's next spin-off, it reads. And I'm not picking on Collider. Many outlets have said similar, and it's based on solid evidence. There's just one nagging problem. Or two problems. Yeah, two. Definitely no more than two. I want to make it clear that if I was forced to bet on which show is next, I'd probably bet on 1944. I mean, it should be the next Yellowstone prequel. Fans of 1883 and 1923 really want it to be next, but there are three nagging reasons to not go all in on believing this show is going to happen. This video is going to flush those out, and if you want to just skip right ahead, I put the time codes in the description section. I'll trade you a subscribe for them. There is so much that's fascinating about this potential series and who might be attached to it. The fan theories are frankly overwhelming, and we're going to get to the best of them. I want to also use this space to update you on every other potential Yellowstone or Yellowstone related TV show, including a show rumored to star Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser, a different show that stars Luke Grimes, aka Kayce Dutton, and one that may or may not include Matthew McConaughey. Probably not, but that doesn't mean the show's dead. This actually brings me to my first reason to be concerned, and admittedly it's pretty weak. Hear me out. Have you ever gone on like a 3-day vacation with someone like your mom or, your mom, and they try to fit like 18 different activities into that 72 hours? We're going to the beach, we're going to a magic show, we're going to fish, we're going to golf, we're going to do a sunset dinner. No, you're not, because there's just not enough time. Taylor Sheridan is a man who forever seems to be trying to put 10 pounds of creative sugar into a 5-pound sack. A short list of TV shows he has going includes Tulsa King, Landman, Mayor of Kingstown, at least 2, maybe even 3 Yellowstone spin-offs, Lioness. It's too much. Now I really don't think not having time is going to stop 1944, if only because it's a proven commodity. It could slow it down, however, which could lead to it not happening, but I'm getting to that number 2 reason a little too soon. First, let's break down what we do know about 1944. Yellowstone Prequel 1944 will take us back to the Dutton Ranch in Montana as World War II is fixing to end. Immediately, this sets it apart from 1923, which happened a few years after World War I, which Spencer Dutton fought in valiantly.
Do you vouch for him?
Well, that's a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient.
You won a Medal of Honor?
Not that I'm aware of.
In 1944, Spencer Dutton will be about 50, and there is no reason not to believe his character will anchor this show. Actor Brendan Sklenar is 34 in real life, and I totally think that with a little makeup, they could age him up to 50, and he's in. Talking to Hollywood Reporter, Brendan said, "Give me some gout, a little haunch, and some salt and pepper. I'll gravel the voice up a bit. If it comes around, I'd love to do it. I really would. I definitely don't want to say goodbye to Spencer. I love that guy." Here's the thing. Every one of Taylor Sheridan's shows has depended on a legacy actor, not a relative newbie. Kevin Costner in Yellowstone, Sylvester Stallone in Tulsa King, Billy Bob Thornton in Landman, Nicole Kidman in Lioness. Expect someone of that type to join Sklenar, although I can't really figure out how, except for this throwaway line from Elsa in 1923.
Spencer never remarried, took the comfort of a widow and made another boy, refused to marry her, and one day, the widow was gone.
What if like Julia Roberts or something played that widow? That's a cool thought, right? But fans have a different theory. At Genesaw Snow represents a ton of people when she says, quote, "Could that widow have been Elizabeth? Think about it, during the Depression, Elizabeth could have returned to the ranch grieving, struggling. Spencer might have been around, their connection rekindles, they comfort each other." A more sinister but similar theory is that Elizabeth's baby comes looking for its inheritance, and that friction is the plot of 1923. The most sinister idea is shared by people like Impala Guy 17, who says the widow's baby is grandfather to Jamie Dutton, and that's why Jamie's real dad, Garrett in Yellowstone, tells him he was owed the kingdom. I mean, if this franchise wraps up that neatly, I will bow down and kiss Taylor Sheridan's boots. All I thought when Elsa mentioned Spencer's widow is, play on, player. Some less reputable AI-generated YouTube videos have suggested that Kurt Russell is in line for this show, but all credible reporting thus far has linked him to the Madison, which isn't quite a Yellowstone spin-off, I don't think. It's more like a cousin to the franchise starring Michelle Pfeiffer. This was the show that Matthew McConaughey was said to be a part of, but those talks fell through, and that brings us to the second big problem with believing in 1944. Shit happens. I mean, there's no other way to say it. But 4 years ago, everyone was convinced that Jimmy from Yellowstone was going to be part of a show called 6666. Actor Jefferson White even gave me one of those I can neither confirm or deny answers when I asked him about it. It seemed solid, but no show. McConaughey, same thing. Here's the original Deadline article from 2023. Over time, people thought he might be in the show that's becoming the Madison, but all of that fell through. There was thought to be more series like Lawman Bass Reeves, but we've got nothing on that. I'm not criticizing Deadline or Puck or anyone else who gets these stories. I'm just saying that over time things change, and we know that one really big change is on the horizon. But before I get there, here is what is currently known about some of these other shows. The Madison is most solid. The same team who produced Yellowstone said they were going to work on production for the Madison last winter, and the show seems likely in 2025. Patrick Adams from Suits on USA Network is the second biggest name attached. Behind Michelle Pfeiffer in the series follows the McIntosh family, originally from New York City, who live in the Madison River Valley of central Montana. That's not really all that far from where the Duttons lived, maybe like 50 miles as the crow flies. Nobody really knows what this show is going to be about, but it sounds like we'll get the perspective of being an outsider in Montana. Maybe even a few Dutton-friendly characters will leak into the show. Who knows? Beyond that, we have this Variety article that names anonymous sources in confirming a Beth and Rip spin-off show. Nothing's been confirmed there, and both actors have been pretty dodgy about it. Then there is a Kayce Dutton spin-off that would be a procedural on CBS. That means every week is a new story, and Kayce's training as a Navy SEAL will come into play. Again, no confirmation, so given what I said about the 4/6's show, take it with a grain of salt. And beware of headlines like this, or any of the videos you see when you search 1944. There is no trailer, the cast hasn't been announced, and no details have been leaked, and nobody thinks that Michelle Randolph's Elizabeth is coming back to Montana. Maybe that's the widow, but it would take a lot to age her 20 years. I think you'd need a bigger star in that role. And by the way, that widow might not just leave Spencer because he won't marry her. Listen to that clip from Elsa again.
Spencer never remarried, took the comfort of a widow and made another boy, refused to marry her. And one day, the widow was gone.
She says gone, and shout out to okay, that's just too long of a YouTube handle, but this person points out that Cara Dutton is the only female Dutton to get to 50. Everyone else dies or disappears. Finally, we've covered this before, but it looks like the 4/6's show is dead. Taylor Sheridan says he'd love to film something there. He does own the ranch after all, but it'd be too disruptive to the people who actually work there in real life. There is one fan theory that allows the 7 generations theory to work. That's next, but I did say 3 major problems, and the next one's coming right now. Paramount, the company that runs all of this, is getting sold. New ownership always means new priorities, and while Taylor Sheridan has a contract with them for a few years, it doesn't mean he has to make this show. There are already reports of discontent from outlets like Puck, who say they want to slash his budget to like $9 million an episode instead of the $12 to $16 million he usually spends. That means a lesser cast to start. I mean, 1883 was one of the most expensive TV shows ever made. Can the same guy suddenly work on a TJ Maxx budget? You can see how that delay caused by having too much to do could bleed into a larger problem created by the sale, and combined, that's the biggest reason to worry about 1944. I guess I'm just trying to protect your heart over here. Lord knows I've gotten several weepy or angry emails at staff@tasteofcountry.com after the finale, many of which were from people who were upset the 7 generations theory now looks like a 6 generations theory. But one fan suggests that Elizabeth does come back and Spencer helps raise that baby. He's who we focus on in 1944, and he's who loses the leg in World War II, thus allowing for this moment to work.
My grandfather lost his leg. Said the worst pain he ever felt was in his toes after his leg was gone. Phantom pain, they call it.
If you need me, I'm just going to be over here adjusting my Dutton family tree. No big deal. Hey, great interviews with actors Julia Schleffer and Brendan Sklenar can be found here, and then another one with Amina Nieves and Michelle Randolph here. I'm Billy Dukes with Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.